Hello, 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 guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to my first ever cooking video. Hopefully I'll make a few more, but we'll see how I enjoy this one. Yeah, so I'm going to be calling this Cooking with Charlotte, and today we're going to be making a cheese beer bread, and I'm using a sharp cheddar. So I have all my stuff here, I got everything prepped already, and I will include in the comments the actual recipe, but I'm also going to be narrating the what's going on. So first things first, you got to make sure you have your apron on because you're working with flour and it gets everywhere. And next, we got to turn the oven on. So for this recipe, we're going to be baking at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I don't know what that is in gas, 6 or whatever, but 375 Fahrenheit. So we start with our flour here. Now, I'm using bread flour, but you can also use whole wheat flour. No, sorry, not whole wheat flour. You can also use all-purpose flour for this recipe, and you can use whole wheat flour for part of it if you choose. Just don't use all whole wheat flour. That's that's a little bit of a mistake, and I have made that mistake before. So, anyways, so there's some argument about whether you need to sift your flour or not. I'm personally a fan of sifting it, so that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to be using 3 cups of flour, plus another 3 cups of flour. We're using 6 cups of flour. I don't know why I said it that way. So here we are. That's the first set, first batch, and then we'll be sifting another 3 cups. Oh, this bowl might be a little small, but I was using my clear bowl, so you could hopefully see what was going on in the bowl here. Because I don't like the overhead camera angle. I don't know why. Oh yeah, this bowl is definitely going to be too small. But you know what? That's okay. We'll just, any mistakes we make, we'll just include them. Why the heck not? Next off, I have this mixture of salt and baking powder, because this is going to be a chemically leavened bread, just because, well, it's beer bread, and it is chemically leavened. The yeast in the beer is very, very, very dead. I tried this before, I tried to let it rise. That yeast is long, long dead. So I'll be adding that. And then we'll be taking our Danish dough whisk. I'm just giving it a quick little, there we are. So you know what, actually I'm going to switch bowls to my metal bowl. I'm going to find another clear bowl for the next time I do something like this. But I need a larger bowl. Wow, that was a lot of noise, and I apologize for that. So we're going to be switching to our larger bowl. In the future, I would make so much that mistake. Let's just get this out of the way. So we're in our larger bowl now. Next, we're going to be adding about a 1/3 cup oats and 1 cup of cheese. And now I did forget to do this earlier when I did this, but the mixture that was baking soda and salt was 2 tablespoons of baking soda and about half a tablespoon of salt. Tablespoon, no way. Half a teaspoon of salt. And I use the coarse stuff because I like it, but you can get away with whatever. Now, you can use more salt in baking than some people lead you to believe. And it usually turns out a lot nicer. There's this cookie recipe I have that, anyways. So we'll take our whisk here, and we'll just mix it up. And then, I don't know if you can see that there, but that is, loosely mixed together. Now, the next step, of course, is to add the beer. So for this recipe, it is 3 cups of beer. So I've already measured that out, and right here I'm just using an amber lager. It's called Bare Naked Lager or something like that. But this is a fun, I love making beer bread because you can mess around with what flavors you add to it, because the beer itself obviously flavors the bread, and so you can do lots and lots of different things. I made one of my favorites is actually making a mock sourdough, where I just used a sour mash beer instead. But best results, or most consistent results I've had have always been just a neutral kind of lager or or ale. However, I found the red lagers actually turn out really nicely as well. It smells pretty good. So let's add that to here. My 3 cups of beer. And there we are. Now, I'm just going to mix this up using the dough whisk. Now, I like using the dough whisk because it's a great implement. However, you can use a wooden spoon easily, or you can even knead with your hands. Just, I'm not doing that because I have my nails done, and it gets into the food if you need, so it's not a wise idea. So we'll just mix this up. And the thing about this is this is a pretty wet bread. So when you mix it, you'll see what I mean when I show you in a second here. But you mix it up. Oh, we're almost there. You only need to mix it for about 30 seconds or so until all the flour has been incorporated. And there we are. Oh, and that's why I love dough whisk. We can talk about dough whisk some other time. So you have that mix up. This is what it looks like. It's just the standard pretty wet looking dough. And so that's actually what the oats are for. They absorb a lot of the moisture. So that's part of the point of that. Next thing we do is you put it in your loaf pan. And these are my favorite loaf pans. So you just kind of have to pat it into the pan. And you can see how wet of a dough that is. So you just kind of pat that in. And there you go. And these are large loaf pans, so you can make a smaller version of this recipe if you have a smaller loaf pan, but this makes a good sized chunk of bread. And here we are with our loaf of bread. So we're gonna put it in the oven now. Oh, we're about 10 degrees too early, but you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna put this in here. And we're gonna bake that for 1 hour. And then it pretty much always comes out exactly the way it's supposed to. However, everybody's ovens vary a little bit, so remember about that. However, I don't want to make you wait to see this loaf of bread. So I've actually made one already. We'll pull that out here, and we have our cheddar beer bread. And you can see all the oats on the top and everything here. It just slides out here right easily. And then, well, I should have grabbed the cutting board first. So let's grab our cutting board, put it down, and then we will take our bread knife and we'll slice into it. You can see what it looks like. So if you've never had beer bread before, it is a very dense bread. However, it doesn't stop it from being good. So that's part of the sifting thing too. In theory, sifting the bread, the flour will have made this bread a little less dense. However, I don't actually find there's that much to do with it on. So everybody seems to have a different opinion on sifting. Personally, I like doing it. But you absolutely don't have to. Same with the bread flour. You don't need bread flour necessarily, but well, you need all-purpose flour at least. And again, you can use some whole wheat, you can use some rye at different ratios. Oh, you can see that piece I cut there was an unfortunate one. It just kind of fell apart. But you can see you have this bread here. And just, oh, it smells so fantastic. So anyways, thank you for joining me. That bread will be ready in about an hour. And once it's done, you can basically eat it right away. You don't have to wait for it to cool down. But if you're patient, give it 15 minutes, and then you can cut into it. And the thing I like most about making beer bread is it's something you can wake up in the morning and be like, hey, you know what? I feel like making some bread to have with my breakfast, and you can have it ready in the hour and a half. So, or even, what's the timer on this thing say? 8 minutes. You can have it ready in an hour and 8 minutes. So, there you are. Again, thank you for joining me. I hope I find the courage to make more of these videos. And yeah, again, thank you for joining me. Adios.